Okay, so your worksheet is going to ask you to write the equation of a parallel line. And they're going to give you an equation and say draw or write an equation that is parallel to this one. So, and it has to go through a specific point usually. So, we learned in our investigation that parallel lines have matching slopes always. So, let me just have an example equation. So, we'll say y equals 2x plus 1. So slope here is 2, so that means that any line that is parallel to this one has to have a slope of 2. That's the only way it's going to be parallel, is if it has a slope of 2. So then it's also going to specify, so it's going to say, write an equation that is parallel to that equation, and then goes through some coordinate point. I'll just pick one, 5, 1. It will specify for you. So to do this, I'm going to write y equals mx plus b, because I want my equation to be in that form. I'm going to go through and identify every variable that I've got. So I know, looking over at my coordinate here, my coordinate is x comma y. So that means y is going to be 1, because that's what it was in the coordinate. M has to be 2, because it's parallel to y equals 2x plus 1, and the slope was 2 there, so the slope is going to be 2 here. X is going to be 5, also from my coordinate, and then b, I don't know. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and plug all these things into the y equals mx plus b, and then I'm going to solve for b. So 2 times 5, 10. And then to solve for b here, I'm going to have to subtract. I'm running out of room. So b is going to be negative 9 down here. Okay. So now that I know what b is, I'm going to go back to just y equals mx plus b. So that whole entire thing in the red over here was just to figure out b. I know m. I have m. Now I know b. I'm going to go plug those back into y equals mx plus b, and I will have my equation. Okay, so this y equals 2x minus 9, it is the equation that is parallel to y equals 2x plus 1, and it goes through 5, 1. Okay, so you have to go through all those steps to figure out what b is, and then go back and put what m was and what b was. So I'm going to do another example. Let's have some negatives this time. So it will be parallel to y equals negative 3x plus 2. And we'll say it goes through, say, negative 1, 2. So I'm going to come over here and identify. Well, first I want to write y equals mx plus b. That's what I'm plugging everything into. So y is going to be 2 because x comma y in my coordinate, y is 2. M has to match m of my equation, so negative 3. X is also from my coordinate, negative 1. And b is still what I don't know. So again, I'm going to go plug all this stuff back into y equals mx plus b. And I still don't know b, that's what I'm looking for. So I've got 2, negative 3 times negative 1, that's positive 3. Be careful with your negatives. And then to solve for b here, I have to subtract. So negative 1 is b, because those cancel. So now I've got b, I've got m, so I'm going to go back to y equals mx plus b and put what m was and put what b was. So So this line, y equals negative 3x minus 1, is the one that is parallel to the given line up top, and it goes through negative 1, comma 2. Okay, now I want to do one other scenario. Well, I guess kind of two. So there's a couple tricky ones. It says parallel to y equals, let's say 2, and goes through, let's say 1, comma 3. Okay, now this one you can do it the same way. M is 0 because there is no m in my equation up there. And I'm kind of going out of order here, sorry. Y is 3 because of my coordinate. X is 1, and I'll solve for b. So you can still do this one the same way, it's just, it looks a little bit different. So if I plug all this into y equals mx plus b, let me write that down again, I forgot, sorry. 3 Okay, so I've got 3 equals 0 plus b. So b is 3. So if you notice, that is just the y part of my coordinate. B is just the y part of my coordinate. Because x doesn't matter. There was no slope. It gets canceled out because m was 0. So if I go write this into my equation, in y equals mx plus b, there is no m, so mx is just gone. It's not even there because m was 0. But b is 3, so my line is y equals 3. So if it's going to be parallel to y equals just a number, it's also going to be y equals just a number, but it's going to be that number from up in your coordinate. They have to match. So same with x's. If you had one that says parallel to x equals negative 1, let's say it goes through 2, negative 3. So this one, I want to draw a picture because this one is weird. It's not y equals. So let's draw a picture here. Okay, x equals negative 1 is everywhere where x is negative 1. So that is all up and down this line here. That is my equation that I want parallel to. But my new line has to go through 2, negative 3, which is all the way over here. I should draw that in a different color. Okay, so the line that's parallel to this one is also going to be vertical, but through that other point. So this one is going to be, it's similar to the y one. It's going to be x equals 2. So that 2 there comes from the 2 in my coordinate. It's going to match every time. No matter what the point is that you went through, it has to match the x coordinate of that point. Okay, so those two are a little bit tricky. But for the most part, this process that we went through in the first 3, where you find m, you find y, you find x, and you plug it all in to solve for b, that is the process you should follow.